a little late to the party, but last week, Dana White had some big announcements talking about some future fights. Again, I really thought that this was from a parody account because you always see these fake fight announcements, and usually they involve these two guys. So I didn't even think twice. I didn't look any further into it. Later on, I found out that this was a very real announcement from the boss himself. Vicente, I am James Krause. I quit on the stool, Luque, months after, like, literally quitting and people saying that he had money on the fight. I don't know if that was like an April Fool's joke or something, but it looked like he had money on the other guy. Vicente Luque, he is fighting none other than the legend, Nick Diaz, Stockton's own Mr. 209. Nick Diaz makes his glorious, I was going to say long-awaited return. I'm not sure anyone's awaiting that, but Nick Diaz makes his return versus Vicente Luque. Tony El Kukui Ferguson, he's only about 8 fights away from a title shot, ladies and gentlemen. Tony Ferguson makes his return, again, not long-awaited at all, against Michael Chiesa. I got a lot to say about this. Clearly, I'm fired up. This may be sunburn, or maybe I'm just turning into a little bit of a tomato getting heated, looking like Uncle Dana himself. Justin, what do you think about these announcements? Because I certainly want to share my thoughts.
Yeah, dude. I mean, this Abu Dhabi card's shaping up to be a pretty good one, especially for fight night. Obviously, you know, the UFC
If
is
you
always
like
going to
sanctioned murder, what do you mean?
listen. The UFC is always going to put out at least, let's say, big names in the Abu Dhabi cards. Let's get right to it. Tony, I should have retired 5 years ago. Ferguson taking on Michael. No one gives a shit. Chiesa. Chiesa will come in. He'll take him down. We'll fall asleep. 30-27 Chiesa. And then Dana White gets what he's wanted for about 3 years now. I've never seen him want someone to retire more than he wants Tony Ferguson to retire. I
Rightfully
mean,
so, though. I mean,
yeah,
yeah.
rightfully so. I mean, I don't understand why they're doing this, Tony. At least give him like an entertaining fight for his last one. He's
Ooh,
gonna get.
wait. Sorry, let me hold you right there. Let's give him he wants to move up to welterweight. Let's give him an entertaining fight. Maybe a guy kind of older, a big star, a big name. Oh, I can't think of anyone. Maybe the other guy on this card. Why is he
Yeah,
not fighting Nick Diaz?
dude. Why is he not fighting 40-year-old gut Nick Diaz, who
I've
again,
never seen a more perfect fight for either of those guys.
bro? I agree. And then why is Nick Diaz fighting in Abu Dhabi? What are we doing?
Dude, I hate to question Uncle Dana's judgment, man, but like those are two, and they're happening on the same card. Stand alone, the two weirdest fight announcements I've ever seen, and I can't even think of like you don't really see this very often, where like there's this much outrage about an announcement. I still don't I still am convinced that it was a late, he got his dates mixed up and it was a very late April Fool's prank. There's no way. Vicente Luque, I know Luque is another listener, so let me talk directly at you, Luque. I saw you a couple months ago in Jersey. I saw you quitting on the stool. Back in 20 and 21, I was a huge fan. I was the one saying that Luque was going to be the guy that was going to figure out Usman. He had the wrestling, he had the jiu-jitsu, he had the style to beat Kamaru Usman. I was just trying to be, different for the sake of it. But I loved Luque. What a fun style. He had a great run. The last couple years, he's fallen on tough times, right? Anytime you get outstruck by Bilal Muhammad, I think that's the dictionary definition of falling on tough times. But Vicente Luque, why did you take this fight? What is wrong with you? Like, you want to be hated by the whole MMA community? Fight anyone else. Anyone else. I can't believe that he took this fight, man. Like, I think in terms, we saw years ago at this point, the last time Nick Diaz fought, a minute in, you were like, holy shit, like this guy should not be fighting. I love Nick Diaz. I'm saying this as a fan. If I didn't care, I would be like, yeah, keep letting him go. He quit. Unlike anything we've ever seen in the UFC octagon. He quit. Or I guess maybe Luque versus him is a great fight because both of them quit. Nick Diaz fell down, and Robbie Lawler was about to continue wailing on him, and Diaz verbally tapped. And it looked like he broke his ankle, and then he got up and was fine. He quit. Why is he fighting? This doesn't make any sense to me, dude. I know I just keep saying that, but bro, I'm very disappointed in the UFC. This is another thing, like we were just talking about with the reffing. Dana is like would probably agree that he shouldn't be fighting. Dude, you didn't let the guy fight for 5 years in his prime. Let's not make up for lost time. He's 40. He's like as slow as a person could be. He looked horrible. Robbie Lawler, God bless him, right? Looked like he was taking it easy on him, and he still, like, you know, he still beat him pretty good. Nick Diaz quit. I think that fight was in 21 now. Was that fight
bro, he
3 years
literally
ago?
quit. Like, he literally quit.
He waved it off.
Yeah.
He verbally tapped. Like,
Dude,
Robbie Lawler just walked away. And
Yeah,
it
I
looked
don't
like he
know
was
if he was-
injured, but he was fine.
That's the thing is, I don't know if Diaz was injured because I mean, he is 40 and he hasn't fought, like, he hasn't been an active fighter in God knows how long, but like, bro, if he comes in and even physically, can he, like, I hope he comes in and at least, post USADA, maybe he gets on a little, you know, a little sauce, hits the triathlons again, and he comes in with at least not a fat gut. And like, if he comes in, I mean, he's 40, so we can't expect him to come in looking decent, but he's fighting a washed up Luque, still probably going to get sparked. We'll see. And it's going to be in Abu Dhabi, so the fight will be dead silence as Nick Diaz is getting sparked when he's 40 years of age. As the fans don't cheer there really. It's like strange.
Yeah, maybe like a top 5 biggest star in the history of organized mixed martial arts. He makes his return. Let's have him fight an actual contender in Abu Dhabi. Great matchmaking. That makes sense. What the fuck?
Dude, him versus Tony actually makes perfect sense. I don't understand. I think it's because Dana wants no shot of Tony winning because he just wants Tony to retire, and Tony actually has a chance against a 40-year-old Diaz.
Yeah, but you get ready for this, brother. So Dana White is in charge of the UFC. I don't think he cuts people all the time. Tell Tony that he can't fight. He has no problem telling anyone else they can't fight. He cuts people. You lose 3 fights. People were saying Jan lost 4 in a row. They're like, is Petr Yan going to get cut? Like,
yeah, but I think he still has to honor the contract, and I think Tony probably has 1 fight left on his. Like, I think he has to at least offer him a fight. I think that's part of the contract.
Like, then pay him the 120 to show that he was going to get for his next 2 fights on the contract. Like, he does not have to. The fact that there's a commission, the fact that there's people around Tony Ferguson that are letting him fight. I don't know. It's a sad world. But so to wrap up Diaz versus Luque, probably as lopsided of a matchup as you could possibly make. I don't understand who's letting this happen. It's very upsetting. As you mentioned, if you are going to do a fight like this, make it literally anywhere else. Putting Nick Diaz and Tony Ferguson, 2 massive stars. Nick Diaz is as big of a star. Like, I don't know. There are a couple other than McGregor. Like, he's up there for biggest name ever. And you're going to have him return in Abu Dhabi against a much younger, faster guy. I'm very disappointed in the UFC, and I'm fucking, even you, Luque, dude. What are we talking about? Why would you take this fight, you bum? You fucking embarrassment. Fighting a legend, Nick Diaz. You better just be shooting for legs. I hope you quit. I hope the money that you made when you bet against yourself and you came out there and just like covered up and like where it looked like you were not you shouldn't be anywhere near a UFC octagon. He actually got, remember, he was bleeding from his brain after the Jeff Neal fight. He took over a year off. If anyone here is new to the brain, it's not supposed to bleed. So like, probably, and I think 9 out of 10 Harvard doctors would not recommend fighting mixed martial arts after your brain bleeds. A lot going on in this one, but fuck, I'm very upset about that. But I'm equally as upset, if not more upset, about Tony Ferguson versus Michael Chiesa. Another fight that makes absolutely no sense. Michael Chiesa, now I'll talk to you for a moment. You're a chump as well, dude. You're a joke. What an embarrassment you are fighting Tony Ferguson, dude. Who has Michael Chiesa fought recently? I don't even know. I know he
Bro,
lost
Chiesa
to
is so irrelevant. I didn't even know. Chiesa might as well be out of the UFC. Send him to Bellator,
yeah.
where he can be the Chael Sonnen of welterweight at Bellator. I mean, what are we doing?
I know he does a lot of commentary and stuff like that. I don't exactly know how. He seems like a good dude, but like, bro, I don't know. Do you understand the way UFC fans work? Like, why are you fighting this guy? Like, did you see the way Paddy Pimblett got treated when he was fighting Tony? I don't know. This is a very weird thing for the UFC. If you wanted to let either of these guys fight, I think you had seen this on Twitter before, like, oh, Tony shouldn't fight again. Oh, Nick Diaz shouldn't fight again. But if either of them were going to fight, just throw them in there with each other, not anyone else. So I am so fired up, man. This is pissing me off. And then even, why is Corey fighting Umar, bro? What a weird card. Didn't they announce? And Figgy versus Chito is on that card too. Chito, for some reason, like, I don't know what, he's got naked pictures of Dana White. Like, they can't match him up against anyone who's not in the top 5. What has Chito done? He just fights like big fight after big fight. Why, Figgy? You're the former
Well,
champ.
we all know why he fought for the title. I mean, they wanted to give Sean an easy defense. They want Sean to stay champion. I mean,
but then he gets embarrassed. He gets dog walked in the biggest fight of his career. He immediately goes, yo, I don't know what was on. O'Malley was greased up, dude. I couldn't take him down. Yeah, that was the problem. That's why you got your face kneed off. Like, that was probably because he was slippery. Why Figgy's going to take his head off.
I hope so.
And El Kakui will make his glorious return via Darce. The Darce Knight rises once again. You could put this one down, actually, and he gets a victory. We see Nick Diaz. You ever seen that like 18-punch combo he threw against Robbie Lawler? And, like, you think it's in slow motion, and then you see Lawler throw, and you're like, oh, wait, like, that was actually the speed he was throwing. Clearly not a fan of this one. Obviously, I don't see one person excited about these fights. But, yeah, well, that fight, that card is in August. We'll break it down a little bit sooner to the fight. You got any words on Corey fighting Umar?
I mean, high-level fight for sure. Big-time fight in that division. Number 1 contender fight, 100%. I won't get into the breakdown. I'll save that for an episode. But yeah, you know, I'm obviously a big Corey fan. To be honest, dude, I'm excited to see what Umar looks like in like a high level fight. He's obviously a significant favorite against a guy who I think is arguably the best bantamweight in the world. So yeah, I'm interested to see how it all unfolds, man. I'm looking forward to it for sure.
All right. Well, again, appreciate everyone tuning in. Comment your favorite Tony Ferguson moment in the comments. Blow that ish up. We'll have some more stuff out later this week. Like we said, big month for the UFC. So yeah, like, comment, subscribe. See you next time.
Deuces.